In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Etekcity Smart Fitness Scale ESF00 Plus, and we're going to be seeing if it can dethrone the current reigning champ, the RENPHO body fat scale. Quick disclosure, I did receive this scale for free. Maybe Etekcity's trying to make up for that last video I did where I was pretty hard on their previous scale. So hopefully this one goes better so that they don't get mad at me and quit sending me free stuff. Before we even get into the packaging on this scale is significantly nicer than the previous one. So I do have high hopes for this guy. We have packing slip, perks of being an Etek citizen, AKA sign up for our newsletter. We have some instructions, and then we have the quick start guide for the app. We'll hold on to that. The lesson I did learn from the last video is read the directions when it comes to setting up the app. Okay. Taped to the bottom, we have a little baggie here. So it does come with a tailor's tape. I was not aware that that was going to be the case. And actually comes in a case. If I can open it, my goodness, you'd think I work out or something. So it comes with a tailor's tape. That's a nice touch, very useful there. We'll set that aside for now. And then we have a charging cable. So this is actually a rechargeable scale. This does not take standard batteries. Package contents, smart fitness scale, USB charging cable, measuring tape, quick start guide. Okay, so it is a rechargeable scale. I'll move the cable over to the side. I hope it doesn't have to be charged to start with. That would really put a damper on the video. So right away, I do have very high hopes for this scale. It is a very nice looking scale. It is a significantly larger platform than the RENPHO scale. This thing looks like a baby in comparison. So that was, if you watched my previous video, one of my complaints about the RENPHO scale was the size of the platform that you have to stand on is pretty small. Look at how much bigger the platform is for this scale. Continuing over to the back, we have a kilograms to pounds to stone switch on the back. So you have 3 different units of measurement. Toggle that switch right there. So far, I have high hopes for it, but it's all about the accuracy. So we'll get the app set up and then we will see how well this performs in comparison to the reigning champ, the RENPHO. Add your first device, scales, ESF00 Plus, add device. Step onto your scale and make sure the screen lights up. Next, allow, done. So it asked me to connect to a Wi-Fi network, but then it said I had to be connected to the scale before I could connect to the Wi-Fi network. So I closed the app, open it back up, and then now it has it listed to where I can just tap on the scale. Okay, whatever. 6 foot 0 inches. Okay, step on the scale with bare feet for an accurate measurement. That's pretty cool. It shows my weight on the phone going up and down live as I'm standing on the scale. That's pretty cool. So right away, the one thing I noticed, which is the problem with the previous Etekcity scale, my body fat is 24.2% with this scale. And my body fat is actually about 13%. It shows up at about 14% on the RENPHO scale. Now, I made a video, which I'll link up in the description, talking about how these bioimpedance scales work and how they're not necessarily the most accurate form of body fat tracking, but the RENPHO scale is pretty darn accurate. And the Etekcity scales are pretty inaccurate from my experience so far. So I've tried 2 of the previous scale, which I actually have it sitting right here. There's this one, and they also sent me a replacement because this one was messed up. And then there's this new model, and both of them have been inaccurate with the body fat tracking. Now I have eaten today, so let me go ahead and step on the RENPHO scale just to see what it shows, to see how much the amount that I've eaten and drank today, see how much that affects what's showing up in the app. So this one's showing 14.2%, which is essentially the same thing it was showing this morning. So it didn't really affect the reading on this one very much. For whatever reason, the algorithm that Etekcity uses is always high when it comes to body fat percentage, and more than just a little bit high. I'm, like I said, around 13-14% body fat. This one reads it pretty darn accurately, and then this one is almost double what my actual body fat percentage is. Now, these are just my first impressions. I'm gonna play with it for a couple days. I'm gonna get a couple more mornings of weigh-ins, see if I can play with it, figure some things out, and then I will get back to compare the RENPHO and the Etekcity ESF00 Plus, compare them head to head, and we'll see who ends up coming out on top. So I'll see you in a couple days. What's up, guys? We're back. I've been using the ESF00 Plus for 3 days now, and before we get into the actual comparison between the Etekcity scale and the RENPHO scale, there are a couple quick things that I want to point out. One is that using the ESF00 Plus this morning, it somehow switched itself to stone, so the units switched on me by itself. I don't know how that happened, but just something to be aware of there. And then also, if you'll notice, when you look at the box, there are these green bars that show up, and these do display on the scale. That's what the bottom section of the display is for, and I actually had no clue what these did. There's nothing about it in the app, there's nothing about it in the quick start guide. I ended up having to look up the full user guide online, and all it said was BMI tooltips. That's it. It didn't say what that even meant. It didn't say how to use that. It didn't say anything. It had it labeled on a diagram that said BMI tooltips, and that's it. There was no further explanation about what it was for or anything. So apparently it's supposed to correlate to your BMI, but there's nothing about it in the user guide. There's nothing about it in the app. It's it. So apparently it's just a throwaway item that I don't even know why it's included on the scale, because it's not in the app, like I said. But with that out of the way, let's get into the comparison. The first category that we're gonna talk about is the app. Now, the VSync app with the Etekcity scale will actually display the difference between your previous weigh-in and your current weigh-in right on the home screen, and it will also display a graph showing the trend of your weight right on the home screen, whereas with the RENPHO, you'll actually have to go to a graph section to look at the trends of your different measurements. And also, while this is a little bit hard to convey through a video, the VSync app with the Etekcity scale, it feels more modern, it feels sleeker, it just feels better to use. Point Etekcity. Next, we're gonna talk about a new category, which is ease of use. The Etekcity scale can actually read and log all metrics without even having to open the app, and it will display those metrics right on the screen on the scale, whereas with the RENPHO app, you'll have to open the app for it to log all of those extra metrics. The Etekcity scale is also rechargeable, like we talked about earlier in the video. And as a small note that's probably not applicable to most of you out there, the Etekcity scale has a little bit grippier feet. This, in combination with the fact that it's much heavier, is beneficial for me because our Roomba will, and it will kind of push it around the bedroom a little bit. Point Etekcity. The next category is surface area. There's not much to say about this. You can tell just by looking how much bigger the Etekcity scale is than the RENPHO scale. It's much more comfortable to stand on. Point Etekcity. The next category is data sharing. With the apps for both of these scales, you can add friends and you can share data between your friends. So with this category, it's a draw. Next, we have connectivity. The Etekcity scale will connect to Fitbit, Google Fit, and on the box, it claims that it connects to Apple Health, but it does not, so don't be fooled there. And then with the RENPHO scale, it will connect to Fitbit, Google Fit, and Samsung Health. And me, I'm a Samsung guy. Point RENPHO. The next category we have is price. Which one of these scales is more affordable? At the time of recording, the Etekcity scale cost $49.99 and the RENPHO scale cost $26 $299. So the Etekcity scale cost double what the RENPHO scale cost. Point, RENPHO. Lastly, let's come back to the topic of accuracy. I mentioned this in my previous scale comparison video, but the reason why the RENPHO scale is more accurate is because inside of the RENPHO app, there's actually an athletic mode toggle, and when you toggle this on, it will let the app know that you work out consistently and that you have more muscle mass than the average person, and the algorithm will take this into account when estimating your body fat percentage. And keep in mind that that's what these scales are doing, is it's taking a measurement and then it's estimating your body fat percentage based on their algorithm. If you want to know more about how these bioimpedance scales work, you can check the card up in the corner or the link down in the description. Now, all that to say, point, RENPHO. So it looks like we have ourselves a draw. The question is, which one of these should you purchase? This is a tough one. With the previous Etekcity scale review, I hated that one. I was ready for the review to be over so that I could box the scale back up and never look at it again. But with this one, this scale feels really nice. The scale itself feels nice. The app feels nice. I like having the measurements right there on the screen. This scale has so many things going for it. The only drawbacks are the RENPHO has Samsung Health and the Etekcity does not. And then of course, the accuracy. That said, the accuracy doesn't necessarily matter as long as the measurements are consistent. For example, if you're dieting and your body fat percentage is going down, it doesn't necessarily matter that the body fat number is wrong as long as the measurements are consistent so that you get those data points on the chart and you can see the trend of the body fat percentage going down over time. So all that to say, I'm a little bit torn. I'm probably still leaning a little bit more towards the RENPHO, but what's your opinion? Let me know down in the comments which one you think is the winner, and I will include the link for both of these down in the description below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. If you want more content just like this, consider subscribing or check out the product review playlist, which will be up on screen right now. You can also check us out on the Treadaway Training Blogcast. We're there every Sunday at 3 p.m. That's treadawaytraining.com/blog. As always, God bless you and your family, and we'll see you tomorrow. What's up, guys? In this video, we're going to be reviewing. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing these. In this, off to a great start. Okay. In this.